Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm here at the Boonshoft Museum of Discovery to tell you about my favorite animals, frogs. So frogs use calls to attract a mate, usually during the spring and summer. So I'm going to show you how to mimic some of those frog calls using materials you can find at home. The first frog we're going to talk about today is the American bullfrog. American bullfrogs can be found throughout North America and are the largest species of frog. They typically inhabit any kind of body of water, but are very commonly found in your local pond. Their call is very low and has kind of a buzzing sound to it. And we're actually going to listen to a real American bullfrog sound. All right, let's try to mimic that sound now with some things that we might have at home. We're going to need a balloon that has been tied off and blown up, and a cup of water. You're going to dip your finger into some water, and you're going to take your finger and gently rub down the outside. See if you can actually match the pattern that that frog calls in by rubbing your finger on the balloon. The second frog we're going to talk about today is the green frog. Green frogs are very similar to the American bullfrog, but they're a little bit smaller. They can be found throughout the eastern part of the United States and southeastern Canada. Their habitat is very similar to the bullfrog as well, where they like to inhabit ponds and lakes. Their call is going to be very similar to the sound of a banjo string being plucked. Let's have a listen to their actual call. We are going to make that call ourselves here now using a plastic cup and a rubber band. So you're going to stretch this rubber band over the opening of your plastic cup. There we go. And we're going to play it like we would a banjo or a stringed instrument. We're going to hold it up and pull back on your rubber band and let go to create that kind of banjo string plucked sound. Give it a try and see if you can mimic a green frog. The next frog we're going to talk about is my favorite frog, the gray tree frog. The gray tree frog can be found in the eastern part of the United States and southeastern Canada. They like to inhabit woodlands with a nearby water source. Their call is kind of a deep sounding trill. Let's have a listen to the actual call. Now let's try to mimic it using some materials we can find at home. So I have a plastic drinking straw. This can be the bendy kind or the straight kind like I have here, and a pair of scissors. So what you'll want to do is flatten down one end of that straw. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut that end into a point. It's going to look similar to the top of a triangle. So I come in at one angle and cut it, turn it, come in at the same angle and cut it again. So you will get a point with two openings, just like that. Now for this part, it will take a little bit of practice to get the sound you want to mimic that gray tree frog. So I put it in my mouth. I will roll my lips over top of my teeth. I'll usually wet my lips a little bit first too, and we'll blow into the straw. You'll make almost what sounds like a duck call. So give that a try. Give it a couple tries if you don't get it right away. The next species we're going to talk about is the American toad. American toads have a very similar range to the gray tree frog, but they inhabit a different area. So we can find American toads within our gardens at home. In the wild, they would also like to inhabit woodlands and grasslands. They can spend a lot more time away from the water because of their dry, bumpy skin. Let's have a listen to what they actually sound like. Now that we've heard what an actual American toad sounds like, let's try to mimic it with some materials that we have. Now we've already cut a plastic straw for the gray tree frog. We're going to use that same straw, but we're going to cut it in half. So we still have the end that we cut into the triangle shape, but we're going to cut off the other side. So now it's half the length. This will cause the pitch of that trill to go up, just like the American toad. So put it in your mouth just like before. Might take a couple of tries. Let's see if I can get it here on the first try. How does that compare to the actual American toad sound? The last frog we're going to talk about today is the northern cricket frog. Northern cricket frogs can be found in the central and eastern parts of the United States in non-mountainous regions. They tend to like to live in slow-moving water, so they like to live near the edges of ponds and slow-moving streams. This tiny frog has quite a loud call, so let's have a listen to what they actually sound like. Now let's try to mimic them. You're going to want to use 2 glass marbles, hold them firmly in your hand, and click them together. Does that sound similar to a northern cricket frog? Thank you for learning about frog calls with me today. This evening, go outside and listen for frogs near you. Can you think of other materials that you can use to recreate those frog sounds? If so, leave it in the comments below. If you did like our video, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. We hope to see you soon.